year. But I did want to get to the Celtics game, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this from a betting standpoint. I know a lot of you watched this game last night. I know a lot of people were on the Heat last night. I was not. I went 2-0 on this game. I picked the Celtics on the money line. I picked the Celtics to cover. But I want to put out a warning. The reason I want to start the show by talking about this game is I want to put out a warning for all of those who are watching our show. The favorite is 0-4 in this series. The favorite is 0-4 in this series. What does that tell me? It tells me Vegas is trapping people. It tells me the public is running towards something that keeps losing. And I want to make sure that all the loyal followers, the loyal viewers, everyone who comes to Fumble Sports to get their sports betting content, to try to get advice, I wanted to put out this word of warning to all of you about Game 5 between the Heat and the Celtics. I saw something last night that scared the bejesus out of me when it came to being a sports bettor. I saw Charles Barkley run his mouth, not about what he knows, which is basketball, not about what he knows, which is maybe culture or society, but he talked about sports betting. And he said he was running to his bookie to bet the Boston Celtics in Game 5. And I have to admit, that totally scared me. Charles Barkley, first of all, is one of the worst sports betting predictors I've ever seen. The guy is amazing. Every time he makes a guarantee, it seems to come wrong. It is unbelievable. He is the kiss of death for any sports bet. However, this one really scared me because his confidence level about the Boston Celtics, I didn't think was misguided. I actually thought it reflected where a lot of the sports betting public's going to be today and tomorrow when it comes to that Game 5. Be careful. The Celtics are 8-point favorites now. Why? Why are the Celtics an 8-point favorite? Did they really play that well in this game? Did they really play that well? They had a good second half, but they weren't amazing. They did not show me that the Celtics are the best team on the planet. They really didn't. Actually, the Heat, I thought, had kind of an off night. I thought the Heat were competitive in the first half. They didn't make the same kind of halftime adjustments that they had made earlier in the series. They were a little bit slow to the ball. They weren't as aggressive. They weren't as good defensively. And that said, the Heat played a lesser game. Does that mean that all of a sudden the Celtics should be an 8-point favorite? The Celtics, are they a 500 record at home over the last two playoffs? Or is it sub 500? It's right around there. They're 0-2 at home in this series. There is no good reason for me to believe the Boston Celtics should be an 8-point favorite in the Garden tomorrow night. Charles Barkley being that big on the Celtics last night after the game scared me. That line, that spread of an 8-point spread in favor of the Celtics, that scares me. If you like betting against the public, and that's what I like to do, I don't want to follow the public. The public loses money. Casinos make money. Vegas makes money. Avoid the Celtics tomorrow night. If you're going to take tomorrow night's game, take the Heat to cover. I'm not putting that out now. We'll talk about that game obviously tomorrow. But I wanted to give a word of warning because I saw that game. Again, I thought the Celtics were going to win last night. But then again, I was going the other direction of the public. The public was all talking about a sweep. Everyone was talking about a sweep. And I thought, man, the Scott Foster effect. Okay, this will go 5. But I'm not on the Celtics bandwagon, and you shouldn't be either. If you are into sports betting and you put your money behind what the public is doing, you will lose it. Be so careful in the next 24 hours about how you bet this game because this is what we call a trap. The Celtics have one really good half of basketball, and all of a sudden they're an 8-point favorite in a place they just lost twice. They lost twice at home in this series. The Celtics may win tomorrow night. I actually would rather take the Heat on the money line, but the Celtics could win. But an 8-point favorite, Boston is an 8-point favorite. You have to be crazy. You have to be out of your mind to believe the Celtics are going to cover that. And Charles Barkley being as confident as he is that the Celtics are going to cover that 8-point spread is part of the reason I am terrified of that spread. Because people like Charles Barkley, they don't study sports betting like we do here at Fumble Sports. They shoot from their hip. They don't follow the rules that we put up every single day of our show saying be careful what the public does. Be careful when everyone's on the same side of a bet. Be careful when the public is driving a price. Right now, the Celtics are getting too much love. And one of the reasons it concerns me is the Celtics are one of those teams, they're aware of this. They play into this. And I don't want to hear any Boston fans comparing this to 2004 and the Boston Red Sox and the Yankees, Game 3 blowout, and then they come back. Basketball and baseball are different sports. If you're a Boston sports fan and you try and make the argument to me that this Boston Celtics team and this situation is similar to the 2004 Red Sox, you're crazy. Because the 2004 Red Sox had Pedro Martinez and Curt Schilling, and baseball is about who's your starting pitcher. You can win 4 games in a row in baseball if you have the right starting pitchers. The whole thing that Kevin Millar was bringing up in 2004 is don't let the Red Sox win Game 4 because then we have Pedro in Game 5, we have Schilling in Game 6, and anything can happen in Game 7. That makes sense. But in basketball, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You don't have a starting pitcher. You have stars, but stars shoot the ball, they make, they miss. As Jason Tatum said after the game, it's a make or miss league. Baseball, that's about starting pitchers. You're only as good as your starting pitcher. Basketball is a make or miss league. Last night, the Celtics had their makes. They shot well last night from 3. The Heat had their misses. Do I really believe that just because of one bad half of basketball for the Miami Heat, all of a sudden now I should be doubling down on the Boston Celtics to have makes? I think it's crazy the kind of talk we're getting out of sports media. And by the way, not just from Boston. If this were just coming out of Massachusetts or New England, I would totally understand why Boston sports media is all of a sudden jumping on the Celtics bandwagon, trying to get their fans all riled up and excited about a Game 5. But I am shocked that the national media is playing sucker right now. TNT last night, ESPN this morning. What have the Celtics done? They had one good quarter. Really, they did not even play that well the entirety of the second half. They've played good at times, but the Heat have been the better team. I keep hearing this morning, well, the Celtics are the better team. The Celtics are more talented. Are they? Are they? Thus far through 4 games, I don't believe that. They might have Jason Tatum, superstar who's better than any other player, even Jimmy Butler at times. But why are we giving the Celtics so much love this morning? I don't understand it. And for all of you who are watching, I know you come here for sports betting advice, and that's where I started this rant, which is if you like betting on sports, be careful about Game 5. I'm curious to know who the referee is going to be. That's something we're going to watch. We'll go through that tomorrow in our show, and we'll research around the referee and the stats. Obviously, the Scott Foster factor, whether he inserted himself into the game or not. That trend about the Heat being 0-5 with Scott Foster as a referee this season continued. So we did our research, we got it right. But I'm saying to all of you, be so careful about betting on the Celtics tomorrow night. If you want to bet on the Celtics on the money line, okay, maybe you can make an argument. But if you're telling me the Celtics are going to cover 8 points tomorrow night, you're crazy. And I'm just going to warn you, the public's going to jump on the Celtics. Vegas is going to make money on the Miami Heat. I'd rather be on the side of Vegas. I'd rather be against the Celtics, and I'd rather go against what I'm hearing in Boston sports media and national media. I think it's crazy. I think what we're hearing right now is a lot of people who are playing Monday morning quarterback to one half of basketball. Even in the first half, I was actually surprised. The Celtics played, I thought, decently well in the first half. They were still down 6 points. Jimmy Butler, I brought up the stats. Jimmy Butler last night, he had 29 points. But he didn't have 2 steals. He only, he wasn't as engaged. He just wasn't as engaged. He was fine. Bam Adebayo had 10 points. Do I really believe Bam Adebayo is only going to have 10 points? No. So all of those who are betting for tomorrow night's game, all I'm going to say is be very careful. If you want to take the Celtics on the money line, that's your business. But if you take them on the spread, I will try and talk you down from that ledge from now until tip-off. So for all of those who are loyal sports bettors, I'm going to say this one more time. The public loses money. Vegas builds casinos. That's how we start our show, ranting about yesterday and that game last night. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. We are going to jump into all of our sports betting action for this Wednesday, May 24th. So settle in. Going to get to all of your questions, all of your comments. Make sure you throw your comments in the chat, whether you're watching on Instagram Live, TikTok Live, or on YouTube. Love hearing from you guys. We're definitely going to answer all of your sports betting questions. And by the way, if you need help with fantasy baseball, DFS, or your fantasy lineup, We are all here for it. So guys, throw those comments in the chat. We are live for 2 hours. We're going to cover everything you could possibly cover. We have an NHL pick tonight. We have a ton of MLB game picks. I have more MLB prop bets than I've given out all year long. And that's a good thing for you guys, because last night, while the night overall was a 13-11-1 night, boy, did we crush it on our MLB prop bets. 7-2 in our MLB prop bets. And one of our misses was actually an in-show bet, which tells me that our pre-show research was fire yesterday. We did an unbelievable job. Every MLB prop bet that we gave out felt good about going in. Clearly, it came out strong, 7-2. Again, we went 2-0 on the NBA last night. And NBA prop bets, we struggled. NBA prop bets, we struggled. And admittedly, to the point I was just making, which is certain things didn't go as the trends have been going. Jaylen Brown didn't have 2.5 turnovers. Marcus Smart, bad beat here. He had 3 rebounds. I thought he was going to collect a 4th late in the game. So we had a bad beat on Marcus Smart on rebounds. Jimmy Butler only had the 1 steal. That was a bad beat for us. Jimmy Butler, 5 assists, another bad beat. So we went 2-7 in the NBA props, but a couple bad beats in there, and a couple of trends that just didn't continue. Gabe Vincent didn't get a steal. Duncan Robinson wasn't shooting well from 3. So reasons that I can understand why our research didn't actually result in a lot of wins. But our MLB player prop bets, boy, were those cashing last night. We did get a home run. Paul Goldschmidt not only hit a home run, but actually he hit 2. So for just that reason, we really cashed in big. By the way, unbelievable start to our show. Want to give a massive shout out to Joseph. Joseph, thank you for subscribing. Means the world to us. Thank you for subscribing. We do a lot of exclusive things, exclusive shows just for subscribers. So Joseph, thank you so much for subscribing and getting our show off to such a great start. Joseph, if you could, we'll give out a pick to say thank you. What would you like a pick for? MLB game pick, MLB player prop bet? Would you like an NHL game pick? So let me know what kind of pick you'd like, and we're going to give out our first pick of the day to say thank you to Joseph for subscribing to the show. As we always do, I'm going to clear out our results from yesterday because we gotta clear the slate and get ready for today's action. I'm going to put our results in the graveyard. We don't completely forget them. We keep track. For those who are also curious as to how we're doing overall, because we don't publish those numbers just because it's always constantly changing. We put out so many picks every single day. But I have updated in my spreadsheet on our overall home run picks, on our long ball, long shots of the day, we are hitting at 30.3%. 30.3%. Pretty good for those long ball, long shots of the day. Not bad. As for our overall picks, when we include those home run picks, which we usually don't because obviously they're long shots, when we include those overall picks, we're hitting at 57%. A little bit lower than I'd like, but again, that's because we're loaded up on those long ball, long shots of the day. And when we're not including those, we're hitting at a 64.8% hit. So just under the 65% that I really love being at. 65% in sports betting, 65 to 70% I feel amazing about. So we're really hitting our numbers. We're doing a really good job with that. And again, for all those who are new to the show, these aren't my picks. These are trend-based plays. We do our research, we look at data, we look at analytics, and we try to follow trends. So this isn't my favorite team or my favorite player or what my gut is telling me. We follow the trends. That's why we had an NBA prop bet night like we did last night. We followed trends. A lot of them didn't continue. Okay, it doesn't mean we throw away the formula. It says maybe last night was an outlier. Let's continue to look at trends. So that's how we approach everything. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. Let's get into it. Joseph is asking for an MLB player prop bet. Joseph, it is coming up now. Let's give it to you. And we're going to give it for a game that's actually going off at 12:35 today. So I wanted to get this one out. So thank you, Joseph, for delivering this one right away. The first prop bet we're going to give out today is going to be Andrew McCutchen. Andrew McCutchen. I'm going to increase the font on this just so you guys can see it. And with Andrew McCutchen, we are going over 1.5 bases. Andrew McCutchen over 1.5 bases, and I'm getting this at plus money. I'm getting this at plus 115. I'm going to give you some reasoning behind this. First of all, Andrew McCutchen against Martin Perez, 17 at-bats, 6 hits, that's good for a 353 batting average, and he has 3 doubles. He has never struck out against Perez. 3 doubles. So I'm going to take the over on 1.5 total bases. We also go to our ballparkpal.com. As you guys know, those loyal viewers, we go to this website every single day to see how the weather is going to impact the scoring and offense across baseball. Look at the weather in this Rangers-Pirates game. Yes, home runs will be a tick down, but extra base hits, singles, both have a plus probability, and overall runs only a minus 1% probability. No reason to be concerned about that. Thank you so much, user 8012. Appreciate all the support you just showed us. Definitely going to answer your questions now. Hi, is that stolen bases? No, that's total bases. That's total bases. So for those who are new to sports betting, baseball, total bases, most sportsbook account this for only total bases, not including walks or hit by pitch. So if I get a single, it's 1 base. If it's a double, 2 bases. Triple, 3, home run, 4. So if he gets 2 singles, we cash on that. If he gets a double, we cash on this. So that's how it's total bases. It's not stolen bases. That's an important distinction. I don't believe you get an extra base for a stolen base. I have never seen that, so just be mindful of that. By the way, if anyone sees a sportsbook that does that, please let me know, because I would love to be able to cash in on that. Anthony Volpe would probably be a good play every single day if we did that. Appreciate all those who are joining us, no matter the platform. Caesar, good morning to you. Let's cash some tickets. Let's make some money. Great to see you. Top Dog just wrote, got a pick for everybody. But Fumble Sports, Marcus Smart, under 6 points in the first half. Okay, interesting one. Top Dog, we'll keep track of that. David, my parlay loss due to Robert Williams missing a free throw. We talked about Robert Williams last night. I was a little bit worried about him, especially with Derek White being in that starting lineup. And yes, Robert Williams missing that free throw. We call that a bad beat, David, and I'm so sorry. There is nothing worse than a bad beat. Hope you're doing okay. Big shout out to everyone on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Hope you're having a great day. For all of those watching on YouTube, hit the like button on our video, but only do it once. Hit that like button, but only do it once. Meanwhile, everyone on TikTok, hit that like button as many times as you can. If you're watching on TikTok, as many times you hit the like button drives up the number of picks we'll give out. Every time we hit a 2,000 like benchmark, we give out a pick, as well as every time we get help with our live goal. Every time we get help with our live goal, which is the confetti, we also give out a pick. So, for that reason, we're excited to jump into today's action. If you've got questions, we've got answers. User 8012, if you want to ask a question, you've been giving us a ton of gifts this morning. So, every time you give a gift, we'll jump right to your question. So, feel free to throw your question in the chat. Mario on Instagram Live, can I get an underdog pick in MLB today? The answer is yes, we will give those out throughout the show. We're going to continue to do our research on a few of them. I'm curious to know where the lines come in. One game I would have my eye on early on is this Rangers-Pirates game, but not so much necessarily the Pirates on the money line, but Pirates on the run line. Feel like it's going to be a closer game than we think. Even though Martin Perez is on the mound, Johan Oviedo is not a bad pitcher, the Pirates pitcher, so that's one to keep your eye on. Giants, decent underdog today. Mr. Chubb's 269's onto something as well. Expect that game to be low scoring, that Giants game. A good opportunity in that one for a pitcher's duel. And in my DFS lineup, I actually took both pitchers in that Giants-Twins game. So that is definitely a game to keep your eye on. Joe Ryan is on the mound for the Twins. But that said, given that it's, I think, going to be a low-scoring game, there is an opportunity for the Giants to maybe get that one. Top Dog, appreciate you. You're talking about the Rays moneyline community. Yeah, I hope that none of you bet on the Rays last night. That was not a game that we gave out. The Rays got crushed 20-1 by the Toronto Blue Jays, or as they joked on the broadcast, they just missed the extra point. But that said, make sure you guys are keeping track of the Rays and Blue Jays game today. We'll get into that with a lot of player prop bets in just a bit, because Shane McClanahan actually has an interesting history against a number of the Blue Jay hitters. Okay, we have hit over 2,000 likes. User 8012, you were asking for MLB picks. Guess what we're going to give out right now? MLB picks. Thanks to you, we're going to give out some MLB picks. We also hit over 2,000 likes, so I'm going to give you guys a couple. We're going to give out game picks right now. So everybody who likes MLB game picks, get ready. We're about to hand some out. The first one we're going to hand out is going to be the Diamondbacks and Phillies, and we're taking the over. I'm going to go check my outlier app because I want to make sure we get this at the right spot. It says over 9 right now on outlier. I do want to check the alternative lines for this one because actually I was considering taking this at 8.5 or 8. Over 8 runs at -155, I feel like is stealing. I feel like that's a great bet. Over 8.5, over 8 at -155. I'm going to put that over 8 at -155, but I'm also going to do something we only do every so often. I'm going to take this at multiple points. So I'll also take the over 8.5 at -135, and I'll even go as far as to say take the over 9. Take the over 9 at -105. I'm willing to go down and down and down on this, double down as I can, because this game's going to have runs. This game's going to have runs. I go to my Ballpark Pal website. Again, this is a website that uses a formula and a model to determine how the weather is going to impact this game. There are going to be home runs in this game. Extra base hits might be slightly affected, but hits are going to be up, and I like that this is a +2. It takes a lot to get a plus run score. You can see most of the games we have, most of the time you go to this website, getting a plus on overall runs is usually rare, except when you're obviously in Cincinnati or Colorado. Those are two ballparks that almost always have the plus. But Philadelphia, the wind's blowing out. It's going to be a warm day. I like the idea there are going to be home runs in this. We have a couple long ball, long shots of the day coming from this game. So I'm willing to go doubling down on this one, believing not only is it going to go over 8, it's going to go over 8.5, and it's going to go over 9. Now, I put the 8 first because that's the one I am most confident in. That's the one I'm most encouraging you guys to take as a recommendation, is Diamondbacks Phillies over 8 runs at -155. However, how confident am I that this is going to reach, let's say, 10 runs? I would take it at all 3 levels. Me personally, I would take it at all 3 levels. You, I'm recommending the -155. Connor, you're asking about who are the pitchers for that Phillies game. So it's Zach Gallen for the Diamondbacks, and it's Ranger Suarez for the Phillies. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, Zach Gallen, he's a good pitcher. Why are you fading him so much? And the truth of the matter is, he is a good pitcher, but I like the idea of Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper has good numbers against him. I like the righty-lefty matchup with Kyle Schwarber as well. I like the idea of getting runs in that game. And Ranger Suarez for the Phillies, he is a left-handed pitcher who I think could give up a lot of runs today. The couple hitters who hit him really well, Ketel Marte, 12 at-bats, 5 hits, a .417 batting average. Additionally, Christian Walker. Christian Walker is a guy you want in your daily fantasy lineup today. 11 at-bats against Suarez, 5 hits. That's good for a .455 batting average. A triple, 2 doubles. He's only struck out twice. I really like this game from an over perspective. I'm hitting it in every way possible. Who is likely to get the first hit for the Texas Rangers? User 8012, that is not something we get into. I love giving out picks. I love giving out prop bets. But one thing I don't do is give out picks that I don't have a good confidence level on or I can't get good data on. I'm never going to throw a dart at a wall blindfolded and hope it hits the target. So as much as I would love to help you out, I have absolutely no idea. I have no data on that. And so I apologize, but... Oh, to get just one hit. Okay, forgive me. I thought you wanted the person to get the first hit of the game, and I was like, oh my god. Even if I got it right, I would be pulling it out of my butt fumble. So that said, I'm willing to look at that user 802. So let's look at that really quick. Who do I think could get a hit in... You're asking about who could get a hit in the Texas Rangers game. Well, first of all, the first one I'm going to look at right away. We're going to reverse engineer this one. I'm going to go to prop bets. I'm going to reverse engineer this to help answer your question. Even before, as this gets loaded up, the first thing I'll say is Corey Seager. Keep your eye on Corey Seager today. He had a bad game yesterday, but he has a more advantageous matchup today against Johan Oviedo. So that said, I like McCutchen. I love McCutchen. He's He's one I had pulled up on my research previously. So he would probably be right up there in terms of who would I take. I would consider Andrew McCutchen, one of my more confident plays. I've already put him up. I like him on total bases, so I think he's going to get a hit. But if I reverse engineer this, and I go to this Rangers game and I look at hits, and I just look at who has the highest probability, the highest implied probability on the over, Nathaniel Lowe. Nathaniel Lowe has the highest implied probability of getting a hit. So if you are just looking for someone to get a hit in this game, Nathaniel Lowe is probably, I might be pronouncing his name wrong. I know there's some Lows and Lows out there. But Nathaniel Lowe, he has the highest implied probability to get a hit today. You can also see that's been a really strong trend over his last 5, 10, even 20 games. So user 8012, my recommendation if you are looking for someone to just get a hit today, Nathaniel Lowe, he would be number 1 on my list. Adolis Garcia, you can also see the over implied probability 69%. I like that my Andrew McCutchen play is right there at 68%. Heim, 68%. Carlos Santana, catcher, or a baseball player, not guitar player. He's over. So there are just a few of them. And this is how we can use this outlier app to reverse engineer some of these picks and plays that you guys like to make. So, appreciate that question. Connor, how do you feel about the money line spread for Phillies Diamondbacks? I'm thinking Phillies on the money line there due. Okay, a couple things. One, I never like to say something like they're due. I might feel that way about a hitter. By the way, thank you for the Planet Earth user. Connor, I might feel that way about a hitter. Say there's a hitter like a Rafi Devers, who you know he's really talented. You know he's someone who lifetime is going to be like a 280, 85 hitter, 290 hitter. Maybe at worst, 300 when he's doing well. But if he's in a slump, if he's like 0 for 15, that's where you say he's due. Because as a hitter, you can go off of the analytics and statistics, averages over a large sample size, and you can say that law of averages is ultimately water will find its level. I can't say that for a baseball team. Connor, I wouldn't say that for a baseball team. Yeah, Trey Turner's a perfect example. Trey Turner is so due right now. Trey Turner, the moment that dude gets even a little hot, he's going to be scorching. Look for Trey Turner, not today, but by the way, he wouldn't actually be, he's not necessarily a bad play today with the lefty-righty matchup. But the whole point is, when Trey Turner, the moment he starts to put together like 2 good games in a row, I'm going to really jump on him. Because that's someone who's due to bring his average way up to what his normal output is. However, something like a baseball team, no, you can just go through a slump. Like a baseball team is different. A baseball player, law of averages. A baseball team, no, we've seen teams win 20 games. We've seen teams lose 10 games. I wouldn't go off of a team is due, especially when they don't have the better starting pitcher. So Connor, one other note, I like Zach Gallen more than I like Ranger Suarez. So, Ranger Suarez. So for that reason, I really wouldn't go with Phillies on the money line. I'm not saying it's going to be wrong. I'm saying I don't have enough confidence in it, especially since, like I said at the start of the show, I'd rather have the better starting pitcher. Starting pitchers make the day. Zach Gallen's the better starting pitcher. So I would avoid that one, Connor. Crazy Joe, I hit on the Goldschmidt homer, but parlayed it with Gallo. Ugh, sorry about that. By the way, something I'm going to say, and you're going to hear me talk about this a lot, guys, make sure you don't overly parlay. Parlays are how Vegas makes its money. Be really, really smart about how you place your bets. Be wary of parlays. If you're Crazy Joe, if you do a 2-leg parlay, separate those out. Make it 3 bets. One on Gallo, one on Goldschmidt, and then one on the parlay. But when you just do the parlay, the likelihood of you hitting is so low. Don't put yourself in that kind of position, Crazy Joe. All of you guys out there, if you like doing parlays, it's totally cool. 3, 4-leg parlays, I'm not going to completely discourage, but make sure while you're making those parlays, you're also placing those individual bets. Crazy Joe, I know it's a tough lesson to learn. I've certainly learned it in the past, especially with the NFL. The NFL, I love parlays. I'm a huge parlay guy for the NFL, as you guys will learn in the fall. But it's definitely one of those things you got to monitor yourself. Again, to our strategies you see up on the screen, have a strategy, have a plan. One of the strategies I always have If I like a parlay, make sure you also take those legs, break them apart, make them individual bets. That way, if one of them hits just like Goldschmidt did, it'll either cover your expenses for your other bets or at least lessen the loss that you had from that day. Anyway, there's a bit of advice for those who like playing parlays. We'll continue to get to all of your questions. Top Dog, you did ask about the Rays on the money line today, so we are going to look at that game. Let's look at Rays on the money line today. We're going to continue to get into all of your questions and all of your picks, so make sure you throw them in the chat. Additionally, for all those watching on Instagram Live, if you want to see the picks we make and put up on the screen, as well as the research we do in front of you using this outstanding Outlier app, make sure you go to our YouTube channel, Fumble Sports. Go to our YouTube channel. There's a link in our bio. Crazy Joe, thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing. So appreciate all of you guys joining us and subscribing. It means the world to us that we're growing this incredible community of sports bettors, this Fumble Sports community. Thank you for subscribing. We try to do a live subscriber exclusive show multiple times a week, so make sure you join us for all of that. We are jumping in right now. User 801. By the way, I know you said your name in a moment ago. I just missed it. Angel. Great to see you, Angel. Great to have you in the Fumble Sports community. That said, Angel, we will get to more MLB picks. Don't worry. We are just going to look first, though. We're going to use the Outlier app, and we're going to go look at this Tampa Bay Rays Blue Jays game. This is a game where, again, yesterday, put it in its own category. Blue Jays went off for 20 runs yesterday. Let's be measured about that. We don't want to necessarily say the Rays are in a slump or the Blue Jays are red hot. I do want to look at this game from a Rays money line perspective. That's where we got our question in. And what was interesting about yesterday, it was a breakout game for the Blue Jays in ways that they have not been playing their best baseball this season, especially their pitching staff. One of the things that concerns me about the Blue Jays is they're a team that needs their starters to pitch at an elite level. We know what their offense can do, but the AL East is so loaded with offensive talent that if the Blue Jays are going to make a wild card run or even have a chance at the division, which I really don't think they have, their top line starters have to be amazing. Alek Manoah hasn't been that so far this year. Berrios is still figuring things out. Kikuchi as well. So I love seeing that offense explosion, but I also like seeing just the one run yesterday. That was a really important sign for me, just seeing them start to put some things together. I know Chris Bassett's been great, but he lost the previous day, so a really good bounce back for the Blue Jays. Just looking at the head-to-head, it's been fairly split over the last 24 games. Looking at this season, the Blue Jays do have the slight advantage on a 3-2 advantage, but that's not enough for me to go crazy with it. Looking at the starting pitching today, I'm going to slide it over so you guys can see it up here on the screen. Again, we're looking at this Blue Jays Tampa Bay Rays game to see if we can find some good betting opportunities. One thing I do like to see here, Kikuchi did have a really good start against the Rays earlier this year. His ERA just a tick above 4. I like the 5-1 record. I also think 8.3 strikeouts for him is pretty good. He's not a dominant strikeout pitcher, so 8.3 per 9, pretty good. But that said, there are a few Rays hitters that hit him well. Bo Bichette has a 294 batting average against him. That's in 17 at-bats. Pretty good sample size, just a bit under 300. Vladimir Guerrero, actually the same thing, a 294 batting average against. George Springer's the one I actually have my eye on today. George Springer has really good numbers against Kikuchi. 15 at-bats, 5 hits, and 3 of the 5 hits have been home runs. So when we go back to our Outlier app, I shift down here, you can see up on the screen going up against, I'm going the other way around. It's George Springer's going up against McClellan. I gave you the wrong ones. Kikuchi, it's Harold Ramirez. Sorry, I did the wrong thing. Brain fart here. Harold Ramirez, actually, I know it's only showing up since 2018, but Ramirez, 3 for 8 lifetime against Kikuchi, 375 average. I know this is only showing since 2018. Wander Franco is also another one. Wander Franco has good numbers against Kikuchi, as you can see there on the screen. 9 at-bats, 444 batting average. Only 2 strikeouts in the 9 ABs. So there are a couple hitters that hit Kikuchi well. I did mention a moment ago Who hits McClanahan well? McClanahan, yes, by the way, he is the better starting pitcher. So I know I just talked about you want to lean kind of, the better starting pitcher. McClanahan, he also has good numbers against the Blue Jays this year. A 2.05 ERA. That is unbelievable. Lights out. He's pitched really well. But as I just mentioned a moment ago, there are a few hitters in this Blue Jays lineup that hit him well. Guerrero, I confused you guys with it, but Guerrero hits him well. Bo Bichette hits him well. And George Springer hits him really well. George Springer really rakes on him. So I'm actually going to give out a pick for this game, but it's not going to be a game pick. What I would say is I'd lean slightly towards McClanahan, but I don't have high confidence on it. So if any of you guys like following my picks, I am not giving out a game pick for this Blue Jays and Rays game. I know we are answering the question from a Top Dog about the Rays on the money line. I really don't like it today. I really don't like it, in part because even though McClanahan has good numbers this year and good numbers against the Blue Jays, there are a couple right-handed hitters in that Blue Jay lineup that just get me a little bit concerned that they could pop a few home runs, especially since they hit well yesterday. Springer went yard yesterday. Guerrero did as well. Those bats are alive for the Blue Jays, so a little bit hesitant to jump on this game, but I am going to give out a pick for this game. But it will be one of our long ball long shots of the day. So for all of those who love betting on home runs each day, here is our first long ball long shot of the day. And like I mentioned at the start of our show, we've been doing this now for about 8-9 days, and we're hitting at about a 30.3% clip. So our long ball long shots of the day are at a 30.3% clip. So we're going to hand out a bunch of them over the course of the show. The first one we are going to give out is George Springer. George Springer, I love those stats I just shared a moment ago. He's a plus 550. I know he hit a home run yesterday, and I know there are some of you who go, oh, I don't like to take a player who hit a home run the day before. I don't feel that way. I feel like he's in a groove. So with that said, I love the fact that George Springer has fantastic numbers against Shane McClanahan lifetime. If I go to our Ballpark Pal website, you'll see this game, it doesn't have a lot of runs expected. Blue Jays Rays runs less, should be down 7%, but home runs only down 4%. Doesn't concern me. It's in the dome. If anyone in this lineup, I think Guerrero, Bichette, and Springer are all guys to keep an eye on. But given Springer has 3 home runs lifetime against McClanahan, I'll take that chance. So for all of those who are watching who love home run picks, just threw this one up on the big board. George Springer at 550. Appreciate all of those joining us. We're getting a question in from YouTube. For those watching on YouTube, make sure you put comments in the chat. Whether you're reacting, putting your picks, asking questions, love to get comments on YouTube. Really helps us engage with you guys. So guys, make sure if you're watching on YouTube, throw your comments in the chat. Caesar says, hit a 6-leg parlay, faded me on the White Sox when you said you didn't like them, took them at plus 1.5, they cashed on the money line. Hey, I don't mind you fading me. We try to give out the best information possible, but it's up to you guys to make the decision whether to follow or to fade us. Happy you made the right decision on that one. Top Dog says they just played them and won 8-1. Okay, Caesar says, Toronto pitcher had 9 strikeouts against Tampa Bay on April 16th. But think about that. That's over a month ago. Caesar. This is where you got to also be careful with where you're getting your information. You want information that's relevant, that's not stale. When I'm taking a game from a month ago, that's early April. A lot of hitters are still finding their way. Early in the season, who has the advantage? The pitcher has the advantage. Hitters are still figuring it out. May, you start to see offenses come back. So for a lot of reasons, I don't take that April 16th game as scripture. I take it as more an indication of how things went in the past, but I put that as a roll of the dice at another crap table. I'm not giving that too much credence today. I care more about what I'm seeing, first of all, recently, and two, what the pitchers have done. Now, McClanahan's been really strong today, so on the money line may still be a good play for the Rays, but just keep your eye on those Blue Jay bats. They are red hot right now. Joseph, Sandy Alcantara, over 4 strikeouts for Taco Tuesday deal. Joseph, let's hook you up with some tacos, and let's go check out Sandy Alcantara. We're looking at a player prop bet for Sandy Alcantara. Again, for all of those who are new to the show, this is Outlier. Outlier is the tool we use, one of the tools we use to do our research every day. It is an unbelievable tool. all this analytical data right in front of you, available to you. And not just that, but as you can see, I also can do this comparison shopping. I can find the plays I like at the best possible odds, and that way I'm in control. I get a little advantage on Vegas. That's what we really want. ZZ, thank you so much for the like. Appreciate all those hitting the like button on TikTok. When we hit 4,000 likes, we will give out another pick on TikTok. 4,000 likes on TikTok gets us another pick. Let's go look at strikeouts. We're looking at Alcantara, Sandy Alcantara. Let me reload this. Oh, it's because I'm on the wrong game. My bad. One of the things you can do is you can select a game here, but just confused because I selected one game at a time. Let's pull up Sandy Alcantara. And we're looking at his strikeouts. And right now, I'm seeing the line set at 5.5. ZZ, thank you so much for the confetti. I'm going to give out a pick in just 1 second once we answer Joseph's question. Joseph, you got over 4 strikeouts for Alcantara. First of all, we love that just because the line's set at 5.5. So if you're able to get it at 4, look how strong this trend is. Look at how strong this trend is. Every start this year, other than his first, he's hit over 4 strikeouts, except one where it was a push. So 2 of his first 3 starts of the season, he missed 4 strikeouts, but since then, really consistent play. Really consistent play. I'm looking at it from an under 5.5 perspective. That's why you're seeing the trend lines like they are. Let's look at away. I'm also going to look at this from the over side. Let's look at it from over 4.5. Over 4.5. These are his last 5 starts on the road. Last 5 starts on the road. Again, one was from last year, one's from early this year. But his last 3 starts on the road, he's hit over 4. Really like that play. Joseph, yeah, I think you got a good price there. That feels discounted to me. Over 4.5. And again, that's against the Braves, the Cubs, the Giants. Like that. Really like that. Let's zoom it out. Let's look at it over the last 10 starts overall. And again, really solid. 6 games in a row. Love it. Yeah, by the way, if I were a sports book, I would have it at 5 as well. I feel like having it at 5 is the appropriate price. So if you can get it at over 4, it's definitely a bet worth making. Definitely a bet worth making. Appreciate all of you guys joining us. We just did some research about Sandy Alcantara. I'm not going to put this one up on the big board. M. Baldwin 918, you're asking, would I take that over 5.5? And the answer is no. I would take it over 4.5. Over 4.5 right now, I'm getting at minus 192. And I actually feel like that's a pretty good bet, especially since I could parlay that with some others. That actually is one I'm willing to put up on the big board. So it is an in-show research bet for all those who are new to the show. Every time we do an in-show research bet, we put an asterisk next to it just so we can distinguish it from our other pre-show research plays. And we will take Sandy Alcantara over. I'm taking it over 4.5 strikeouts. Again, one of the reasons I love this outlier app is I can find alternative lines. I can find the alternative line that allows me to get the best advantage on Vegas. I'm comparison shopping amongst different sports books, and I'm getting alternative lines. So I like the over 4.5 at minus 192. That's what I'm throwing up on the board. We have a ton of MLB prop bets to give out today. We just gave out this one, but we are going to give out another pick right now to say thank you to ZZ for hooking us up with our live goal. Every time you guys give us the confetti in our live goal, we give out a pick. So let's give out another one right now. ZZ, since you were the one who gave the confetti, what do you want? You want an MLB game pick? You want an MLB player prop bet? Do you want an NHL play? Let us know. ZZ, what would you like? ZZ, since you gave the confetti, you get to make the selection. What kind of pick would you like? We are loaded up today. Plenty to give out. MLB anything. Love where your head's at. Let's give out an MLB anything then. And I am going to give out a double one here as a thank you. I'm going to give out a double pick. So as you guys know, when we take the long ball, long shot of the day, we often also take another bet involving that player, whether it's over 1.5 total bases or over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. That way, if the player, first of all, gets the home run, both tickets cash. But even if they miss the home run, the likelihood they get a double or drive in a run is high, so we like those plays. With that said, I'm going to double down on a player I love today. I'm going to start by giving out the long ball, long shot of the day involving him, and it is Christian Walker. Christian Walker of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Love this play today. Again, he's facing Ranger Suarez, a left-handed pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. In his career against Ranger Suarez, I mentioned this a moment ago, 11 at-bats, 5 hits, a .455 batting average, 1 triple, 2 doubles, 1 RBI, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. He doesn't have a home run against him, but I like the matchup. I like the righty-lefty matchup. I like the idea that there's going to be weather in this game that supports home runs. Again, I show up here on the ballparkpal.com website. Likelihood of home runs in this game, up 6. I don't mind that it's going out to right center. I could see him taking a fastball to the opposite field. I could also see him pulling it. I really like this one. I really like this play, and I'm going to double down on this one. I'm doubling down on it, and the prop bet that I'm going to take it is total bases. You hit the nail exactly on the head, ZZ. You nailed it. Right thinking. Christian Walker, over, and I'm taking it over 1.5 total bases. And believe it or not, somehow I'm getting this at plus money. I don't know how. I found it this morning at plus money, over 1.5 total bases. Let's go check it out on Outlier to make sure I'm getting my odds correct. So I cut out here. I type in Walker, Christian Walker, and I'm looking at total bases. And you see, over 1.5, why am I getting plus money? I know the implied probability is down, but this is unbelievable value. ZZ, I feel the same way you do. I'm really surprised I'm getting the kind of value that I am on this play. Love this opportunity to take Christian Walker here. So like I showed you guys up on the screen, not only do I have him as a long ball, long shot of the day, I also have him on over bases, and they're giving me plus money on it. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take that every time. Candyman, thank you so much for the gift. Candyman, if you have a question, let us know. We'll answer it right away. Appreciate all of those who are supporting the show today. Getting so much love from you guys. Again, let us know, if you could, what questions you like and how we can help you guys out. Caesar, I never like a team that hit over double digits the day before to hit again the following day. That's why you're taking Rays on the money line. Interesting. So you kind of have a theory of your own, Caesar, that when a team scores that many runs, they usually have an off kind of offensive day the next day. Interesting. I know I don't necessarily prescribe to that way of thinking. Okay, Too Fine K-Line is asking about the Yankees on the money line today. One thing about the Yankees on the money line that I keep my eye on, I like that they're going up against a pitcher that they can hit well, but Nestor Cortez, there are some hitters in that Orioles lineup that actually hit him decently well. So yes, I like the Yankees on the money line today, but I wouldn't hate the Baltimore Orioles on the run line as well. And if you did take it on both sides, I think both tickets could cash, but also it's kind of a hedge play against the Yankees on the money line. So maybe something you want to consider. Okay, ZZ, Walker, McCutchen. If you're going to parlay them, also take them individually. I said this a little bit earlier. If you're going to make 2 or 3 leg parlays, also break them off and make individual bets. That way, if the parlay doesn't hit, you're still cashing. Candyman, I'm kind of with you. Pirates plus 1.5 does look enticing to me because I don't... Oviedo, their starting pitcher, he's better than people think. And I actually think Zach Gallen, he hasn't been pitching as well in the last few starts. So you just want to be a little bit careful on that. Yeah, ZZ, you're absolutely right. With both are plus money, both opportunities to cash on the plus money side. That's, by the way, one of the reasons I would both parlay it and take them individually, because you're not taking them, if the individual bets are like a minus 190, I get why you might not be about it, but a really good opportunity there. Okay, Angel, you're asking about any Twins MLB bet. Any Twins MLB bet? Could it be an MLB player prop bet? Like any Twins play? Anyone? Let me see if I have any loaded up. So the answer is I do have a bet on that game. Let me give that one out. Where are we with the likes? We're just shy of 4,000 likes. Once we get to 4,000 likes, Angel, I'm going to give out a pick around that Giants-Twins game. Oh, or ZZ could just drop some confetti like a boss and help us out. ZZ will still give out a pick. We'll give out a pick when we hit 4,000 likes. But I am going to give out a pick because we got that confetti. And the pick we're going to give out, I'm actually going to move these just so you guys know. I'm going to make these a little bit easier for you guys to keep track of. I'm going to put these all in one place. So we'll keep the games in one place, and we will keep the prop bets in one place. That way it's a little bit easier for you guys to just find them really quickly. The next game we're going to give out, the next play we're going to give out is a thank you to ZZ for that confetti, is we are going to give out that Giants-Twins game. Oh, they may be down there. We're going to give out that Giants and Twins, and we're taking the under. Now, where I saw this, I thought about taking an alternative line on this game, so I'm going to jump into the Outlier app to make sure I'm getting this at the right place, at the perfect spot. So, guys, we're going to go to our Outlier app, and we are going to look at the Giants and Twins game, and I'm looking at the under. See, right now, the over-under is set at 7.5. I don't like that. That's a little bit too low for me, actually. I want to get it at a slightly better price. So I'm going to go over to check out the alternative lines, and I really want to take this at an alternative line that works for me. Not what Vegas is forcing me to take, but one that works for me. What do I really like? I like the under 8. Under 8.5. I'd really like the under 8.5 more, so I'll say under 8.5 at minus 160. Under 8.5 at minus 160. But that said, under 8 is a good play as well. Under 8 at minus 140 is a good play as well. Would I take the under 7.5? I don't have the kind of confidence level on it. I do think that this is going to be a pitcher's duel. I expect it to be a 3-2, 4-3, 4-2 kind of game. I don't see this getting to 8 runs, but I do worry a little bit about 7.5, just because kind of living on the edge on it, just in case there is a late bullpen collapse by somebody. I like the 2 starting pitchers in this matchup though. So the pick we just gave out to say thank you to ZZ for hooking us up with that confetti is Giants Twins under 8.5. I'm getting it in an alternative line under 8.5 at minus 160. We have hit 4,000 likes. Every time we hit 2,000 like benchmarks, we give out another pick. We will give out a player. Actually, I'm going to give out an NHL play today. I'm going to give out an NHL play. I'll put it at the top. If you guys have been loyal viewers of our show, you guys know there is one. I don't like betting hockey too often because hockey is such a crazy sport to bet. There are so many crazy bounces of that puck, you don't really know what you're getting. But there has been one play over the last week or two that has been too consistent for me to avoid, and that is the under. The under. When the Florida Panthers have been playing, the under has been red hot. The under has been red hot. First of all, Carolina, last 4 games, the under. But look at Florida. Look at Florida. When you see that many green check marks on the under, you gotta ride it. We are a sports betting organization that focuses on trends, data, and what it's telling us. Man, under 5.5, how do I not take it? So, the pick we're giving out, because we just hit 4,000 likes, we're going to give out the Hurricanes, Panthers, under 5.5 goals. Under 5.5 goals. That's just too easy for me, given the trend. I'm getting it at minus 124. I love it. By the way, look at the alternative lines on this one as well. Is there an opportunity to take something really advantageous? Let's check. 6.5 minus 205. No, not really good. But under 6 at minus 165, that might be worth it. That might be worth it. If I like it at under 5.5, I like it under 6. So it might be an opportunity, just like I showed with this Diamondbacks-Phillies game, where if you like it at one level, maybe you like it at multiple levels, might be an opportunity to take it at multiple places. Appreciate all of those who are joining the show. Every time we get the gift of confetti, we give out a pick. ZZ, thank you so much for hooking us up. We try to hit our live goal every single show. We have a ton of picks to give out. We have barely started. I still have 5 more long ball, long shots of the day to give out. I have a ton of MLB player prop bets to give out. But if any of you guys have any questions about picks that you guys care about, I'm more than happy to do that research, focus on what you guys care about, and that way you guys can place your bets as soon as possible. Angel, by the way, thank you so much for these gifts. If you guys have questions, make sure you're throwing them in the chat. I want to make sure I'm answering all of your questions. And those on YouTube, don't feel like you have to be silent on YouTube. We're here to answer your questions. Top Dog, you're asking about Javi Baez under 1.5 bases. Javi Baez under 1.5 bases. I'm gonna dive into Javi Baez 1.5 bases. But first, I'm going to give out a pick because ZZ just took this up with some confetti. So I'm going to give out a pick, and then I'm going to go into Javi Baez in just a second. The next pick we're going to give out, again, I'm going to double up on this one. I'm going with a long ball, long shot of the day. This is a thank you to ZZ for hooking us up with the confetti. So 2 picks coming your way right now. The first on a long ball, long shot of the day, Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper, love that the wind is blowing out to right field. I actually like the matchup with Zach Gallen. We'll get into that in 1 second. I'm getting a home run for Harper at plus 450. I actually think those are pretty good odds. I actually like Bryce Harper at plus 450. By the way, one big deal 22. Don't go anywhere on that question. We are going to get to Justin Turner in a little bit. Do not go anywhere. One big deal 22. But first, we're going to give out these picks around Bryce Harper. We're going to answer a question on YouTube, and then I'm going to get to One Big Deal 22's question in just a second. But Bryce Harper, like I said, we usually also like to double down on people we like to hit a home run. If we're confident in them hitting a home run, we usually are confident about them on bases and hits overall. So the one thing I wanted to look at before we actually dive into it is Bryce Harper. Where am I getting his total bases? Or where am I getting his hits, runs, and RBIs? We like 1.5. We don't like 2.5. So the one thing we've got to be careful of, especially with someone like Harper, he's going to get usually a 2.5 spread. And that's a little bit concerning. So let's look at Bryce Harper. I like the home run on him. Over 1.5 total bases. Bingo. Bingo. Over 1.5 total bases, I'll take it. I'm getting it at plus money. Let's also see it at hits, runs, and RBIs, just because I'd rather take hits, runs, and RBIs. So I might actually do all 3. Believe it or not, I love Bryce Harper today. So if I go to, for those who are curious why I like Bryce Harper so much, Harper 9 at bats against Gallen, 3 hits. He has a double, a walk, 2 Ks. But I like the righty-lefty matchup, and maybe even more so, I like the weather in this game. So I'm going to take Bryce Harper over 1.5 hits, plus runs, plus RBIs, and I'm getting that at minus 140. Minus 140. I'm not going to put total bases up on the board, but you guys might want to consider this one. Over 1.5 total bases? I don't know. That seems pretty good at plus money. I kind of like this right here. Part of me is like, don't put it up on the board, but I kind of want to because Bryce Harper over 1.5 bases, you know what? I'll play with it. It's going to be an in-show research play, so we'll put the asterisk, but we're really going hard with Bryce Harper today. I'm going to go over 1.5 bases. Part of the reason I do like it and what's convinced me is not only is at 1.5, I'm getting it at plus money. I'm getting it at plus 120. I can get Bryce Harper over 1.5 bases at plus 120 on FanDuel. Again, the weather in this game is encouraging to me. It's a righty-lefty matchup with the wind blowing out to right field, a small ballpark in Philadelphia, the opportunity to get a home run, maybe some extra base hits. I like Bryce Harper today, so he is someone I definitely have my eye on. Okay, we're going to go back to YouTube and answer our question on YouTube, and then we're going to get to that Justin Turner question on TikTok from One Big Deal 22. But first, Top Dog, you were asking about Javi Baez on total bases, so let's look up Javi Baez total bases. By the way, guys, if you want a free 7-day trial for Outlier, make sure you DM us on TikTok, Instagram, or on Twitter. We'll send you a link for a free 7-day trial. I think Outlier is the best sports betting tool out there. Again, analytics all in one place, great sources of data, and this comparison shopping feature. I can find the best odds with the sports book that I want to use. I think it's a great tool. So we're looking at Javi Baez on total bases. First of all, implied probability of 58% would normally get my attention, and I'd be really happy about it. But the 50% on the over has me a little concerned. Javi Baez actually has good numbers against the starting pitcher that he'll be facing today. So it's one of the reasons I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm a little bit hesitant on Javi Baez. Now, Javi Baez has burned us before. So you know I'm not going to take the over. I'm certainly not going to put it up on the board. But that said, I'm not crazy about him overall because he does have a decent history against the pitcher he'll be facing. Let's look at it from the underside. First of all, back-to-back games he's hit the over. Maybe that's a reason for you to kind of fade him. You think he's going to fall off. Head-to-head, he's actually done pretty well. Last 3 games against the Royals, he has it. And he's facing Zach Greinke. Oh, he's 0-5. Interesting. He has better stats lifetime against Greinke, but Outlier only shows the stats for a hitter since 2018. Interesting, he's 0-5 since then. Only 5 at-bats since 2018, which is surprising in and of itself. But interesting that he's 0-5. Maybe a better bet. Top Dog, you might be onto something on this one. I'm not crazy about it. I would avoid it. But that little note about Zach Greinke does have my attention, so. Angel, Bryce Harper plus 1 plus RBI is a hit. So it's over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. So he would need to get at least 2, a combination of a hit, a run, and an RBI. So if he gets a hit and he drives in a run, or if he gets a hit and then scores, we got to get to 2 on that. M. Baldwin, we will get to your question in just a second, but I actually want to get to another question that we got before yours, which was from One Big Deal 22. One Big Deal 22, you were asking about Justin Turner, and actually, I'm going to turn this one into a pick. We have hit 6,000 likes because you guys are awesome and hitting that like button like crazy. So everybody, make sure that you're paying attention now because we're going to give out another pick. This one around Justin Turner. So first of all, again, I'm going to double down on it. I know he hasn't been a huge home run hitter so far this year, but I love the matchup today. I'm taking Justin Turner to hit a home run, and I love the odds I'm getting on it. Plus 750, plus 475 rather, plus 475. So that said, Justin Turner, he's another one of our long ball, long shots of the day. But I also, this is where I really like him. I like him on a player prop bet. And Justin Turner, he's facing Tyler Anderson. In his career, Justin Turner against Tyler Anderson has 36 at-bats. Huge sample size for a hitter. 36 at-bats. He has 18 hits. So One Big Deal 22. You were sniffing this one out brilliantly. Justin Turner has unbelievable stats against Tyler Anderson. He's hitting 500 lifetime against him. 500 lifetime against him in 36 at-bats. Of his 18 hits, 3 home runs, 5 doubles. He's got 5 doubles. So he's got 8 extra base hits. I'm taking over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He has 8 RBIs in his career against Tyler Anderson. I mean, again, these are unbelievable stats. Just crushing it against him. I'm getting over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 150. Just to follow through on the stats, Justin Turner against Tyler Anderson. 36 at-bats, 18 hits, 3 home runs, 5 doubles, 8 RBIs, 5 walks, and he's only struck out 2 times. Justin Turner is absolutely a must-start today for me, whether it's DFS, whether it's a prop bet. I'm taking him on home runs. I'm also going to look at total bases. I like the hits, runs, and RBIs, but I also want to see what total bases is. If I can get it at 1.5, I jump on it right now in show. Boom. Over 1.5 total bases. I can even get it at plus money. You got to be crazy. So we're going to make this an in-show one. You could see I'm really doubling down on certain players I like today. You guys may only want to take 1 or 2 of them. You may not want to take the trifecta that I'm going for, but I'm feeling really confident about some of these hitters today. Over 1.5 total bases for Justin Turner. I'm getting it at plus 104. I absolutely love it. Appreciate all those who are joining the show. We are 1 hour into our show. So excited to be with you for this entire slate of MLB games. Of course, if you guys have any other questions about the NHL game tonight or about the NBA game tomorrow night, we are here to answer all of your questions. We are live on TikTok, Instagram, and on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button, but just once, hit that like button and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, we really appreciate your support. Make sure you like, subscribe, and write those comments in the chat. We try to get to as many as possible. Caesar, I will get to your question in just a minute, so don't worry. We'll look at Yandy Diaz. Appreciate your question on YouTube. If you're watching on TikTok, you know the deal. Hit that like button as many times as you can. Every time we hit a 2,000 like benchmark, we give out a pick. And when we get the gift of confetti, by the way, what do we give out right now? A gift. We give out a pick because IP Shade 45 just hooked us up with some confetti. IP Shade 45, so happy to see you. And yes, our conspiracy theory about Scott Foster was correct last night. The public was really big on the Heat. Felt like everyone was big on the Heat. We saw that trend about Scott Foster and we said, I think I'll take the Celtics. So that ended up working out. Caesar, don't worry. We'll get to your question in just 1 second. But first, we're going to give out a pick to say thank you to IP Shade 45 for hooking us up with some confetti. I'm going to give out another pick. And this one, I'm going to go with IP Shade 45. What would you like? MLB game pick? Would you like a player prop bet? IP Shade 45, what kind of pick would you like since you hooked us up with the confetti? IP Shade 45, what kind of pick? Anything I want? All right, then I'm going to give out another double-double. Or as I'm calling that the double-double because we're going to give out 2 picks at once. One for a long ball, long shot of the day, and one that's also a player prop bet that we like. Here we go. This should be a no-doubter for all of you, given what we saw not only last night, but what we've seen over the course of the last few weeks from him. This is an easy one for me for long ball, long shot of the day. Everybody, say it with me now. Aaron Judge. That's who we're going with today. He hit a home run late last night to give the Yankees a tie and ultimately won in the extra innings. He's only going off at plus 215. I understand some of you may not like that. It's not the same kind of odds for the long ball, long shot of the day. But that means you may really like the player prop bet that goes with it. Aaron Judge. By the way, don't worry, Joseph. We'll get to your question as well. Aaron Judge, I'm going to take him on, again, multiple different directions here. I'm trifectaing. I'm not just doubling down. I'm going with the trifecta. I'm going Aaron Judge over total 1.5 bases. I'm getting that for a bizarre reason at minus 115. I can't believe it. I'm also taking Aaron Judge over 2.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Now, normally we do not take the over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, but here is why. Aaron Judge has ridiculous numbers against the pitcher he is facing today. Aaron Judge is facing Tyler Wells. Starting pitcher of the Baltimore Orioles is Tyler Wells. In his career, Judge has 17 at-bats against Tyler Wells. He has 8 hits, 3 home runs, a double, 5 RBIs, and only 1 strikeout. Aaron Judge is locked in. He's hitting home runs. Should be a good day for offense at Yankee Stadium. Love, love, love this play today. Joseph, I'm going to get to your question in just 1 second, but first, we are going to answer Caesar's question because he's been waiting on YouTube. Caesar's asking about Yandy Diaz over 1.5 total bases. So let's go research it. We're going to go to Yandy Diaz over 1.5 bases, and then we're going to get to Joseph's question on TikTok. So Yandy Diaz over 1.5 bases. The implied probability isn't in our favor, Caesar. First thing that stands out, the implied probability is better on the under. Let's look at it from the over since that's what you asked about. Now, this has been a pretty good ticket thus far. Over the last 5 games, it's hit 4 times. Over the last 8 games, it's hit 6 times. So it has been a pretty good play. That is something I like. How is it done at home? Still pretty good. 5 over the last 8. Again, we're looking at over 1.5 bases for Yandy Diaz. Now let's shift it over so you guys can see how does he do against Kikuchi. So he's facing Kikuchi. His stats against Kikuchi, really bad. Really bad. This is why you should avoid it. Caesar, this is why you should avoid it. 12 at-bats, only a 167 average. That's poop. That's garbage. Don't want it. Not saying that he couldn't hit it, saying I don't like it. It's a trend that I'm going to avoid. As you guys know, it's not that I'm saying don't take something. You guys can do what you want with your money. But we follow trends and we follow data. And the data is saying don't touch Yandy Diaz over 1.5 bases today. Not worth it, Caesar. So to answer that question on YouTube, Caesar, I don't like it. I know you might think the righty-lefty matchup is a good call, but not one you want. Why A Tittle 24? First of all, I appreciate you showing back up and coming back to the show. And yeah, we got yesterday's pick right, but I said at the very beginning of the show, doesn't mean I'm jumping on the Celtics now. One of the things we like to do here is we like to look at what the public is doing and then try to go the other way. Again, the public loses, Vegas builds casinos. Why A Tittle? It's not so much I thought you made a wrong call. It's just I felt like the trends were going in the other direction. Doesn't mean that the trends won't go in the other direction for the Heat in Game 5, so you'll have to stay with us tomorrow to see what our pick's going to be. Okay, the People's Bet. What's the website we're using for all this great data? It's Outlier. Outlier is a sports betting tool. I think it's the best sports betting tool you could possibly use. It allows me to find trends, go through every game, and player prop bets. I can get alternative lines, and not just can I get alternative lines, but there's a comparison shopping feature, so I can look at what FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, and Caesar are offering, and then I can make the pick based off of the sportsbook that's giving me the best opportunity. I'm not being forced into a corner by them. That's not what we want. But no one puts Butt Fumble Sports in a corner. We have just hit 8,000 likes, but before we give out another pick, I'm actually going to answer Joseph's question. Joseph was asking about Senga, Stroman, over 11.5 strikeouts. So we're going to go to that player prop bet first, and then I'm going to give out a pick because we've hit 8,000 likes. If you're watching on TikTok, keep hitting that like button as many times as you can. Every time we hit another 2,000 likes, we do give out a pick. I am looking at the Cubs-Mets game. So interesting. You were asking about Senga, Stroman, over 11.5 strikeouts. If I just look at the implied probability on these, over 4.5 and under 4.5 for Stroman are almost going off at the same clip. So we can just write in here 4.5 and just kind of play the game of reverse engineering your question. Let's play the game and let's write it as 4.5 right now. Let's write it as 4.5. Let's say Senga gets his 6.5. That has us at 11. You want it at 11.5. Let's dive into it just a little bit. Can Senga get you over the top? How has he done in his last few starts? Hit or miss. A bit of hit or miss. What's interesting about this to me is that the Reds in Cincinnati and at home against the Tampa Bay Rays are two offenses that I think of can score runs. So interesting that he got the strikeouts in those. How has he done on the road so far this year? It's actually been a pretty consistent play. Pretty consistent play where he's hit the over 6.5. Now, let's jump over to the other side. Let's look at Stroman. Can he get over 4.5? Hasn't been as consistent, but you look at the two games recently where he missed on the 4.5. Both were on the road and both against decent offenses. Let's look at how he's done at home. Really consistent over the 4.5. So what I would say is, Joseph, I would take the over 11.5 strikeouts, given that I think you'll get 5 strikeouts from Stroman. If you get the 5, and then maybe you get to the 7, 5, 6. So I would take the alternative line. If you can get it at 11, I would take it there. I don't like the hook being against you. If you can get over 11, I really like it, Joseph. The hook is what's kind of hesitating me, but I do like the over just slightly based off the trends we just looked at. Okay, getting another question. Candyman, you're asking about Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan, over 7.5 strikeouts. We will look at this one, and then I'll give out another pick. Joe Ryan, strikeouts. Oh, it's because we're on this game. I don't want to be on this game. I want to be on the entire slate. Let's go to Joe Ryan. So you're taking, 7.5 strikeouts I don't like. The fact that the line is set at 6.5, Certainly don't like it at 7.5. I know that this is, you would say maybe the 7.5 is a strong play, but the fact that the line is being set where it is, I wouldn't take an alternative line. Over 7.5 at plus 146. Maybe that's attractive to you because it's at the plus money. I'm not crazy about it. I understand over 7.5 might be a strong play at home. I like over 6.5. Candyman, over 6.5. I don't know why you fight it. Over 6.5, I'm getting at minus 130. Minus 130. What's wrong with that? I like that play. I actually might like that enough to put it up on the board. Is there any reason for me not to? I really like Joe Ryan today. I actually slotted him into my daily fantasy lineup. By the way, if any of you guys want to see my daily fantasy lineup, go to our website, buttfumblesports.com. There's a link in our bio. You can go right to our website. Takes you right there. You can go check out our blogs, and right there you can see our daily fantasy lineup for the day, as well as we give out the best hitter-pitcher matchups of the day, as well as MLB trends overall. So make sure you're hitting that link to our website, buttfumblesports.com. But completing the thought on Joe Ryan, I kind of like the over 6.5 as a play here. Shifting it over to see how he's done against the Giants. Is there any hitter here who's hit him really well? Haniger, 1 for 2 with a home run. Yastrzemski, 1 for 2. Not a huge sample size. For that reason, one other thing I want to look at really quick. We're going to jump over to Fangraphs, another really good website to use for baseball analytics. Against right-handed pitchers on the road, I'm curious to know how the Giants are doing against right-handed pitchers on the road. Do they average a lot of strikeouts? So looking at strikeouts, the Giants, bingo, this is what we love. Giants, have the fifth most strikeouts of any team on the road against right-handed pitching. Again, right-handed pitching on the road, Giants are 5th. You can put it on the board. Yes, sir. We're going to add this one to our favorite bets of the day. Joe Ryan, over 6.5 strikeouts. And we're taking that at minus 130. We put the asterisk next to it because it's an in-show play, but we're adding that pick. Joe Ryan, over 6.5 strikeouts. Candyman, I like the over 6.5 at minus 130. Minus 130, I think, is really good odds for it, actually. Okay, we have a couple picks to give out. IP Shade 45 hooked us up with some confetti. So we are Candyman. We're not just going to give a pick. We're also going to give a pick that's specifically designed for your question. So the next pick we're going to give out is based on Adley Rutschman. Adley Rutschman has great numbers against Cortez in his career, against Nestor Cortez. So I like Adley Rutschman over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs, and I'm getting that at minus 110, which I really like. Rutschman against Cortez, 9 at-bats, 5 hits. That's good for a 556 average, 1 double. He does have 3 strikeouts. So there's a little bit of concern that there might be some strikeouts, but I really like Rutschman today. I think there are going to be runs in this Yankees game. I know it's showing that runs are going to be lower, but I saw that offense last night. Even though it says the wind's blowing in, it's still blowing in, and it's right field. I'm not avoiding it today. I know that the weather's telling me one thing. I actually feel like these offenses are going to put up some runs today. I like Rutschman today. So the pick I just gave out to say thank you to IP Shade 45 is Adley Rutschman over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 110. We're going to give out another pick right now because we have hit 8,000 likes, I believe. Did we give out a pick for 8,000 likes yet? If we haven't, I'm still going to give out a pick. We're giving out picks no matter what's going down. So the next pick we're going to give out, it's going to be another long ball, long shot of the day, double play. So the first pick we're going to give out, I'm actually going to put this right next to his teammate because I expect him to go yard, Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber, really like this one today. We're taking him at plus 400. Plus 400. Not plus 4,000. So anyways, we're taking Kyle Schwarber at plus 400 today to hit a home run. And I actually didn't take him. I didn't actually put him on a player prop bet. Let me go check Kyle Schwarber really quick. I actually didn't include him in my notes for hits, runs, and RBIs, or total bases. Let's see what Schwarber is going off at. So Schwarber, total bases, is going off. By the way, it's only half a base. Why wouldn't I take that? Kyle Schwarber over half a base at minus 135? Yes, sir. Take it right away. I'm going to make it an in-show research play. Kyle Schwarber over half a base at minus 130, I believe we saw it at. Minus 135. Again, facing Zach Gallen. I like the matchup, righty-lefty matchup. Wind blowing out to right field. Like it. Dante, how do you feel about Dubon for over 1.5 total bases? There are no stats on him with the pitcher, but he's been getting on base. Let's take a look at it really quick. Mauricio Dubon of the Houston Astros. We're looking at his total bases. The over only has an implied probability of 40%. That makes me really cautious. So, to answer the question, Dante, on YouTube, that implied probability definitely has me hesitant. Now, I know it's been a hot trend. We'll look at it from the over. It has been a hot trend, but whenever I see that implied probability in that kind of range, it does give me hesitation. On the road, not as strong a play as you would think. Very hit or miss on the road. Not crazy about it. Short sample size with the head-to-head. There you see, he hasn't strung together 2 good games in a row in a while. So I would avoid this play. Would not touch it. If Dante, I would not touch this play. Don't have enough confidence in it. Steven, you're watching on YouTube and you're asking about Marcus Semien over 1.5 bases. Let's get to it. By the way, Top Dog, we did answer that question, and yes, we're taking the over. Top Dog, yes, we are taking the over. But to answer the question for Marcus Semien, you were asking about over 1.5 bases. The implied probability isn't in our favor on this one, but not nearly as bad as the other, with the over at 49%. By the way, we will give out another pick for 10,000 likes in just 1 second. Just answering this question on YouTube. Semien. So first of all, he hasn't faced Oviedo in his career, so we don't have any data there. Hot and cold, not really stringing things together. I don't really like to see this. I prefer if he had a 3-game stretch in a row. Would give me some confidence. Looking at the on the road, nah, I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is he hasn't just been consistent enough on the road. How has he been against right-handed pitching? He does have a .309 batting average against right-handed pitching with 7 home runs. Man, this is a tricky one for me. I like how he does against right-handed pitching. I don't like how he's been hitting on the road of late. And what's interesting is, on the road, that was against Pittsburgh and Oakland. So not exactly juggernauts of a team. So he got 3 bases yesterday, but for reasons that I'm surprised by, Steven, this isn't a jump at it kind of play. Normally, I would be all over Marcus Semien in this situation, but the trends just have me kind of fading it a little bit. I just wouldn't touch it. Just don't have enough confidence. Okay, answering all of your questions, but first we have a pick to give out because we just hit 10,000 likes. So we're going to have another pick, believe it or not. We're giving out picks like crazy today. All these picks all in one place. That's what Butt Fumble Sports loves to do. Give out a ton of picks. The People's Bet, we'll get to your question in 1 second. But first, giving out another pick. And we're going to go with... Let's go with... Tim. We're going to go with Tim Anderson over. And I want to check this because I loved his stats last night, but I want to make sure I'm getting it on bases or hits, runs, and RBIs. I think I want it on bases. Tim Anderson. Yeah, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I'm getting a plus 110. Nice. Over 1.5 bases at plus 110. Here's my reasoning behind Tim Anderson. So, in his career against Cal Quantrill is the starting pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians today. Tim Anderson against Cal Quantrill in his entire career, 17 at-bats, 7 hits, that's good for a .400 batting average, 1 double, 2 RBIs, and most importantly, only 1 strikeout. So I love the fact that he's got a .400 batting average in 17 at-bats, but he's only got 1 strikeout. He makes contact. I feel like he's going to get on base. I like Tim Anderson over 1.5 bases. I'm getting that at plus money. Thank you. Love it. By the way, big shout out to all those watching on YouTube. Steven, thank you. Top Dog, Dante, Caesar, for all of those watching on YouTube. Very much appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys watching. If you are watching on Instagram Live and you want to go watch on YouTube, there's a link in our bio. We think our YouTube viewing experience is the best, so make sure you hop over there and check it out on YouTube. Okay, the picks are coming in pretty fast, Travis. Appreciate all you guys hitting that like button. Again, don't forget about the confetti. Every time we get a gift of confetti, we give out a gift, or give out a pick rather. We are going to answer the People's Bet. The People's Bet had a question about Shane McClanahan, so we're going to answer that question, and then we're going to give out another pick. Man, it's amazing how many picks Butt Fumble Sports gives out, right? We are looking at Shane McClanahan for strikeouts. The total set at 55.5. I like for your purposes that the over is set. The implied probability on the over is at 57%. But immediately it makes me go, why are you taking it at 6? Why not take it at 5? I understand that 6 has been a strong play based on the trends. But I'm a little curious why you're not taking it at the 5.5. 5.5 at minus 132? That's a good play. That's a good play. Oh, it's a prize picks bet. Yeah. Okay, for all of those who do the prize picks, appreciate that you share that with me, because I'm always going to be someone who looks for the alternative line. I know the prize picks are really trying to box you in. That's why they make the money that they do. So be a little bit wary on that. Looking at it from a 6, I don't dislike it. Notice, though, one key note. In his last start against the Blue Jays, his strikeouts per 9 were a tick down. Now, obviously, it shows at 9 now, but what that really says to me is that you wouldn't be surprised if it's closer to 6 than it is closer to 8. So a little bit of hesitation there. Let's look at, again, I talked about this a little bit earlier. There are some hitters who hit him well. George Springer, among them. Springer hits him really well. Guerrero, not bad at 294. Bichette, not bad at 294. There are a number of really good right-handed hitters in this lineup. So I would avoid it if I could. I understand that you're playing the prize picks, but I'm a little hesitant. They hit him well enough in his first outing where he was a tick down from his average. Plus, he also has to face some good right-handed hitters coming off a loaded offensive day. A little bit of reason for me to avoid the play if I could. Okay, we are going to give out another pick. We're going to give out another pick for hitting 12,000 likes. And then, Joseph, I'm going to get to your question. Actually, before we do, the People's Bet actually asked a two-parter, so I'm going to answer the other one really quick. You asked about Bryce Elder. Okay, and immediately the implied probability at 56%. 56%. Bryce Elder on the under. Interesting. We're looking at it from an under perspective. Very hit or miss. Very hit or miss. He hasn't strung together 2 consecutive starts with over 6 strikeouts, over 4.5 strikeouts since the early start of the season. So, for a lot of reasons, on both of those plays, the People's Bet, I don't like either one. There's a reason Prize Picks is giving it out. I don't like either one. I feel like both are a bit of a trap. And by the way, the Dodgers, do I really want to take Bryce Elder going up against this Dodgers lineup? Not really. I know they don't have a sample size against them, but look at how this team does against right-handed pitching. Freeman rakes. J.D. Martinez rakes. Will Smith rakes. I don't know. I wouldn't touch it. I would avoid it. By the way, Candyman loves Suarez over 3.5. No, you're asking about strikeouts. I don't love that. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to Candyman's question in a minute. We have a ton of picks to give out. We have 2 picks to give out. Here are all of our picks so far up on the screen. So for all of those who are just joining the show, here are our picks that we've given out so far. We're going to give out 2 picks right now because we hit 12,000 and 14,000 likes. We have a half hour left of our show. So we are going to give out 2 more picks, and I am going to give out my last home run, my last long ball, long shot of the day. So I'm going to give out my last long ball, long shot of the day. And I'm going with someone who made us some money yesterday. And believe it or not, I'm doubling down on him. I'm going Paul Goldschmidt. Now, again, you guys might not like this one because Paul Goldschmidt hit 2 home runs yesterday. And you may be saying, hey, maybe the magic is out of the bat. Not for me, though. Paul Goldschmidt to hit a home run today. I do like it. And I'm going to explain why in just 1 second. But I also want to bring up, I'm going to double down on it. And I'm also going to bring up a player prop bet that I like involving him as well. Paul Goldschmidt, I'm going to take him at total bases. Paul Goldschmidt, over 1.5 bases. And I'm taking that at minus 110. Minus 110. The reason, by the way, I'm not taking hits, runs, and RBIs is it was set at 2.5. But the reason I like this play so much for Goldschmidt on a home run as well as on total bases, in his career against Ben Lively, the starting pitcher of the Reds, who, by the way, gives up runs. I know he pitched okay in that start against the Yankees, but he does. Paul Goldschmidt against Ben Lively in his career. 8 at-bats, 4 hits, 1 home run, 1 double, 2 RBIs. He's never struck out against them. 2 of his 4 hits have been extra base hits. 8 at-bats, 4 hits, 2 extra base hits. I like those kinds of stats. And doubling down on the weather. Look at that weather. Oh boy, do we like home runs today in this game. Reds, Cardinals. If you like home runs, look for it in that game. The likelihood of home runs in that game is up 23%. You got to be outside your mind to not take a home run in that game. So I'm going to go with Goldschmidt. I'm going to go with Paul Goldschmidt, but I'm sure there's some others. So guys, do your research. There may be some really good home run bets in that Cardinals-Reds game today. Keep your eye on it. Keep your eye on it. IP Shade 45 just hooked us up with a gift, so we are going to give out another pick. And actually, this one, perfectly timed, relates to this game as well. You guys are probably not surprised by this one, but I am going with Cardinals, Reds, over, and I took it at 9.5. I took it at 9.5. That is an alternative line, though. I took it at 9.5 as an alternative line. What's the current total set at? The current total is set at 11. The current total is set at 11. So not where I want it. So let me see the alternative line. If I go to 9.5, I'm getting it at, I'm taking over 9.5 at minus 160. Minus 160, and I don't mind it. Minus 160, and I don't mind it. Might be something I can parlay. Might be the second leg of a 2-leg parlay or a 3-leg parlay. So Reds, Cardinals, Reds, over 9.5. Again, I want the alternative line. I don't want to be boxed into what Vegas or what the sports books are trying to force me to take. I like Cardinals, Reds, over 9.5 runs. I'm getting it at minus 160, alternative line. Appreciate all of you joining us and really appreciate all the support you guys are showing us. IP Shade 45, thank you so much for supporting us. Candyman, you had a question about Ranger Suarez on strikeouts and Adrian Hauser on strikeouts. Let's go look at the 2 of those, and then we're going to get to Top Dog's question on YouTube. So stand by. We're going to handle Candyman's question first, and then we are going to go to Top Dog on YouTube. But first, let's go to the prop bet, and let's look at these strikeouts for... You're asking about Suarez. I'm very low on Suarez today. But interesting. Wow. I'm not big on him in terms of in terms of runs given up. I think he's going to give up some runs. But interesting, the Candyman, you might be onto something here. Ranger Suarez over 3.5 strikeouts has been a very consistent play. Very consistent play. Wow. Really did not expect that. Ranger Suarez, very consistent. Let's look at home. Very consistent. Even on a larger sample size. Wow. Wow. Now, he's only had 1 start this year. He's only had 1 start at home this year. Only 1 start at home this year. So that is something of note. But that said, the 2 starts he's had this season, he's hit 4 strikeouts twice. So actually, this is a bit of a mirage because these stats are from late last year, except for these last 2 against the Rockies and the Cubs. But he's hit both times with over 3.5 strikeouts. If we go over and we see how Arizona hitters have done against him, there's one hitter who we already brought up earlier who rakes against him, Christian Walker. That's why we're betting on Christian Walker. By the way, Marte, we actually have a prop bet on him as well. I can give that one out after we answer this question. But strikeouts might actually be a good play. Strikeouts might actually be a good play for him. So yeah, Candyman, I'm not putting it up on the board, but I don't hate it. Not a bad play. Oh, the people's bet. If you cash, if there's a push involved, it's not a bad play. I thought you busted if it's a push. Good. Okay, we're going to answer Top Dog's question on YouTube about Nestor Cortez strikeouts, and then we're going to go to Joseph's question about Michael Kopech strikeouts. So for all of those who are answering your question, all of those asking questions, we are doing our work, doing our research right here in front of you. Let's jump back over, and we're going to look at strikeouts for Cortez. Nestor Cortez. Top Dog was asking about Cortez over 6.5. Over 6.5 does have the stronger implied probability at 57%. Let's look at it. Interesting. Looks like a strong trend, right? But notice something. His last 2 starts at home. What happened, Nestor Cortez? Very interesting. Last 2 starts at home against the Rays and the A's, under has hit. So there's a little hesitation for me, because look at how he's done at home. Not as strong as I would have expected. Now, if we also shift over and look at how he's done against the Orioles, his average strikeouts per 9 is a tick down, or it was in the start he had earlier this year against them. Let's look at how Orioles hitters have done against Cortez. Some reason for optimism. Mullins doesn't hit him well. Adam Frazier doesn't hit him well. Santander doesn't hit him well. So maybe some reasons to like it. But frankly, I would just avoid it. I would avoid it, Top Dog. I don't like the over on it. And the under isn't a strong enough play either. Because part of me could see him getting it, but then the trend suggests that at home it hasn't been as strong a play. So for me, I would avoid this one. It's not one that really stands out. I don't like Nestor Cortez over 6.5 or over 6. It just doesn't inspire enough confidence for me. So I wouldn't touch it, Top Dog. Okay, Joseph, your question was about Michael Kopech strikeouts. Let's go check it out. Michael Kopech strikeouts. By the way, if I haven't said it enough, thank you guys so much for the support you guys show us. Want to shout a lot of you guys out. Joseph, IP Shade 45, The People's Bet, Candyman, Travis Murphy, Angel, also known as user 8012. Really appreciate the support you guys have shown us today. Unbelievable. YA Tittle 24. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show, asking questions, being engaged. Love this unbelievable Butt Fumble sports community. You guys are absolutely the best. Okay, we're answering Joseph's question about Michael Kopech. You see here the implied probability, similar spot. We're going to look at it from the over perspective. What I do like is this has been a stronger play. The trend here has suggested that he's starting to pitch a little bit better. And by the way, one of the reasons I actually like this, the 2 times he missed over his last 6 starts, in Toronto, in Cincinnati, 2 teams that can put up some offense, not surprised. Now he is on the road, which isn't as strong a play, but I feel differently about the Royals offense than I do the Reds and the Blue Jays. I wish he were at home. Let's put it this way. If this were at home, this would be an automatic. If this were at home, I would take the over automatic. But let's look at how he's done. Strikeouts per 9. Pretty good given that he's got a 50-inning sample size, so not hating on that. Let's look at how he's done against Royal hitters. Against Guardian hitters. It's against Guardians. Couple hitters have hit him well. Rosario. I guess he's the only one really given the sample size. I'm not crazy about this one as well. Again, if he were at home, I would like it more. Let's look at the weather. So the wind is blowing in. Should mean a fewer runs in that White Sox Guardians game. That could be helpful. less likely, less probability of a home run. Jorge, what's up? Happy to see you in the chat. Jorge, great to see you. So interesting. I wouldn't touch it. So to answer Joseph's question, I don't really like it. What's interesting, it's too bad I can't get a good alternative line on it either. It's really locked me into the over 4.5. I'm not crazy about it. I wouldn't touch it, Joseph. Just doesn't appeal to me as a play. Appreciate all of the questions you guys are asking. Make sure you're still hitting that like button. We still have 20 minutes left of our show. Once we hit 16,000 likes. Once we hit 16,000 likes, we will give out another pick. And of course, we still have our live goal to go. If you guys help with our live goal, we will give out picks. So hook us up with that confetti. We will give out a pick right away. And don't hesitate on your questions. We're here to help you guys out. If you have questions, we have answers. Still have picks to give out. Plenty of prop bets still sitting in my pocket. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button. And of course, hit that confetti as well. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day, having a lot of fun with our show. Make sure you guys follow and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, we really appreciate if you guys hit the like button on our video. Again, for those watching on YouTube, Top Dog, Caesar, Dante, Steven, we really appreciate the support you guys show us on YouTube. You only hit the like button once, but it certainly helps us out. IP Shade 45, with all of these picks, need some standouts. In your opinion, need some standouts. Well, I don't give out picks I don't like. As you guys know, I don't give out picks I don't like, so I do love the picks I'm giving out. That said, I'm willing... By the way, if we get one subscriber right now, if we get one subscriber on TikTok or on YouTube, I'll do my confidence level. I'll do my confidence level for every pick. But that said, some of the plays I really love, I really do like that Hurricanes-Panthers play. That under 5.5 IP Shade 45, that's been really consistent. So just based off of the trend, I have to love that one. That's certainly a standout one for me. Justin Turner really stands out. He just has an unbelievable sample size against Tyler Anderson, the starting pitcher of the Angels. That one really stands out to me. I probably still prefer the hits, runs, and RBIs to the bases, just because I can see him getting a hit, driving in Verdugo or Yoshida, someone like that. But I really like Justin Turner today. That really stood out. IP Shade, thank you for the gift. We will give another pick in 1 second. But I want to continue to answer your question. I still like Aaron Judge over 1.5 bases. I think he's going to get a home run today, so that feels like a nice play there. That's one that definitely stands out. I really like the over in the Diamondbacks Phillies as well. Over in Diamondbacks Phillies as well. Rangers are up 3-0 in the first inning, says Candyman. Okay, interesting. So we have had some shows where we've had baseball games going on during that time. We've actually done really well in those with our long ball long shots of the day. Didn't give out any home run picks for today's early game, the 12:30, but hopefully Andrew McCutchen comes through and can give us an extra base hit or two. By the way, Marcus Semien hit a home run. So we talked about earlier Marcus Semien. I was kind of on the fence. It's too bad. If I had gone with that one, we would have cashed on that right away. By the way, we did say, someone asked about who's a player we like in that Rangers game to get a hit. We looked at Nathaniel Lau and Garcia. Both of them got a hit. So one thing I will say is I feel really good about the picks and the research that we've given out, because the information we've given out already about that first inning, about the Rangers-Pirates game, our trends are really pointing us in the right direction. So it makes us feel good about our picks. Okay, this is the order of things we're going to do. We're going to give out a gift. We're going to give out a pick. We're going to give out a pick because IP Shade 45 hooked us up with confetti. Then we are going to answer the Houston Astros question from someone in the chat, because IP Shade 45 hit that fire button. So we're going to give out a pick, and then we're going to answer a question about the Astros. First one we're going to give out. I will go with... So this is going to be a bit of an off-the-board play for some of you, but this is someone I have my eye on every time he faces a left-handed pitcher. So there are certain guys across Major League Baseball who are kind of specialists. When they're a right-handed hitter, when they face a lefty, always keep your eye on them. Here you go. Here's one to keep your eye on. Rob Refsnyder. Maybe you guys aren't as aware of Rob Refsnyder. He's kind of been a utility guy, but he is really good against left-handed pitching. I'm going to take over 1.5 hits plus runs. Hits plus runs plus RBIs for Rob Refsnyder, and I'm getting him at minus 125. Minus 125. He is a really good hitter against left-handed pitching. On top of that, Refsnyder is 2 for 2 lifetime against Anderson. I know it's a small sample size, but 2 for 2 with a double, an RBI, and a walk. So he's had 3 plate appearances. He's gotten on base all 3 times. That includes an extra base hit. I just love how he hits against left-handed pitching. Love Rob Refsnyder today. That's another one we add. Okay, now we're going to go with the Houston Astros question. Where's that Houston Astros? Okay, Houston Astros on the money line. Houston Astros on the money line. Do we like it? Let's go look at it. Looking at Astros on the money line. Minus 104. Slight underdog in it. So let's look at the starting pitching matchup first. First of all, line movement on this. Brought it down a little bit. By the way, IP Shade 45, thank you so much. We've got more picks to give out. We are 1 confetti away from our live goal, so we've got picks to give out. So looking at the starting pitching matchup, Bielik, or how you pronounce his name, he's pitched well. I know it's less than 20 innings, but low ERA. I really like that. On the other side, Hauser doesn't have a win yet, but a low ERA. Again, only 14 innings pitched. So a couple of pitchers who don't have a huge win-loss record, but the ERAs are pretty low. Looking at how the hitters have done against these two pitchers, let's look at how the Astros have done against Hauser. Only Bregman's got success against him. Everybody else literally doesn't have a hit. On the other side, the Brewers, small sample size as well. So we're not gaining a lot of data from the two pitchers in this matchup. Let's see how the Astros have done against right-handed pitching. Surprisingly, not that well. They don't have one hitter above 300 against right-handed pitching. That surprises me. Now, I will say, I really considered Yordan Alvarez for a home run today. I really thought about that. That was one in which I was considering it. I'm still on the fence whether I should take Yordan Alvarez to hit a home run, to the point where I want to put it up on the board, but I haven't. But on the other side, the Brewers against right-handed pitching, Miller, 344 average. I'm not getting any vibes from this game. I'm not going to touch this one. If I had to go and run one direction, I probably would lean just slightly towards the Astros. Over their last 10 games, they've won 8 of their last 10. They've been red hot of late. So I'm more going off the trend of how they've been doing over their last 10. But I don't have a starting pitching angle on this one. So I will take the Astros on the money line just slightly. I'm not going to put it up on the board, but I lean just slightly. Real Bordeaux, part of me does want to take the under 9. I actually think that is where I kind of come out. Now, I understand that you see this 12-2 game could spook you, but actually, the under is a pretty good play in this one. If I shift over the under 9, under 9's been pretty consistent for the Astros over their last 5. If I go to the other side, look at for the Brewers, not as consistent. So, that was against the Rays, though. The under 9 is intriguing, though. Oh, Candyman McCutchen struck out. It happens. No worries. Well, he's got more at bats. I'm not stressing it just yet. Long game in that one. Not worried about it. But that said, Rangers off to a fast start. Okay, because you guys are unbelievable, we have hit our live goal for the show, so I actually have a bunch of picks to give out. I am about to empty the bucket on my picks for the day, so guys, make sure you guys are paying attention. We are about to give out a bunch of picks remaining, so thank you to Candyman. Big thank you to IP Shade 45 for coming through. So we have a number of picks to give out just now, so make sure you're with us. About to drop a couple of picks. Here we go. Let's go. The next pick we're going to give out, we are going to go with Charlie Blackmon. Charlie Blackmon. We're going to take Charlie Blackmon over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I need to double check what the take is on that, what the odds are on that. So I'm going to go to my props. I'll go to hits, runs, and RBIs for Charlie Blackmon. And we're going to hit Blackmon. And hits, runs, and RBIs. By the way, one of the reasons you can tell we love this play, look at the implied probability on this, 63%. We do our research here at Fumble Sports, and you can tell because we didn't, the implied 63%, that's why our confidence level is as high as it is. So over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, we're going to take at minus 170. Minus 170 for this one. Got more picks to give out, but Charlie Blackmon, the reason we like that play as much as we do, against Sandy Alcantara in his career, 8 at-bats, 3 hits, including a home run, 2 RBIs, a walk, and just 1 strikeout. So good stats. And again, the weather in this game, the weather in the Marlins-Rockies game should be very, very helpful for runs. Home runs has a plus 10% probability. Extra base hits, plus 22%. I mean, across the board, this is a game in which you want to bet offense. Marlins, Rockies, you may not want to take the over because Sandy Alcantara, but I do like that they're going to be offense. You may not want to take the over. The over's pretty high. I think the over's like 11.5. You may not want to touch that, but they're going to be there's going to be offense in this game. So whether it's DFS or player prop bets, definitely look at that game. Cardinals, Reds, Marlins, Rockies, make sure, and by the way, and Diamondbacks, Phillies, make sure you have those 3 games highlighted. DFS, player prop bets, those are going to be really advantageous. Got more picks to give out because we got those gifts. So the next pick we're going to give out, okay, I wanted to see if this one was available. I love this play. We don't talk about strikeouts a lot here, but strikeouts for hitters. I really want to look at Brent Rooker. Brent Rooker, he's at 1.5 though, so it's not worth it to me. I was hoping he was going to be at half a strikeout. I was looking at him. He has bad numbers against Bryce Miller, the starting pitcher of the Seattle Mariners. So that was one I was considering, but don't like it at 1.5. So actually I'm going to avoid that play. We got to go back to the board to see which plays we like. The next pick we're going to give out is going to be Andrew Benintendi. Andrew Benintendi, and we're going to take the over 1.5 hits, plus runs, plus RBIs. Again, he's got really good numbers against Cal Quantrill, much like his teammate Tim Anderson. So I like both of them today. Both have really good stats against Cal Quantrill, the starting pitcher of the Guardians. If I go over and I look at hits, runs, and RBIs for Andrew Benintendi. By the way, do you think we do our research? What's the implied probability? 58%. 58%. Oh, that's an interesting one. Before we end, we're going to throw this one up on the board at minus 140. But Real Bordeaux brings up a really interesting pick opportunity. First of all, Andrew Benintendi over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. The reason we like it, Benintendi has 15 at-bats lifetime against Cal Quantrill, so a good sample size. In those 15 at-bats, he has 6 hits, good for a 400 batting average. He has 1 home run, 1 double, 3 RBIs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Really like the stats, like the opportunity for him and Tim Anderson today. Now, to the comment we got on the TikTok Live comment section, Real Bordeaux, that's a really interesting question, is Brent Rooker to strike out in his first at-bat at plus 200. That I like. I'm not going to put it up on the board, but that said, Brent Rooker to strike out in that game I really like. So if I don't like it at the 1.5, taking it as the first plate appearance, not a bad idea. Real Bordeaux, smart thinking. Because it's a plus 200, I would put a half unit down on it. I wouldn't put a full unit down. Because it's a bit of a riskier play, but you're getting a good return on it, I would put half a unit down. For those who may be new to sports betting, always know the amount of money you want to bet. So if you're like me, my units are either $10 or $20. I don't go crazy. I'm not making millions. If I were Dave Portnoy or someone else, maybe I'd be putting down $10,000 units, but I don't. My units are probably $10, $20. So for that, I'd make it a $10 bet. That's a $10 bet to me. It's a half unit play. I like it. I wouldn't put it up on my board, but I like it. Appreciate all of those who have joined us. We only have a couple minutes left of the show. However, I will say this. If any of you guys want me to stay on for an extra half hour, I am willing to do so. We just need one person to subscribe on TikTok Live. So if one more person subscribes on TikTok Live before the end of our show, I will stay on for the extra half hour, just like I did yesterday, and we will continue to do research and continue to answer your questions. So if you guys want me to stay on live for an extra half hour from 1:30 until or from 1 to 1:30, I'm more than happy to do that. I just want to make sure that you guys are wanting it. So if we get one more TikTok Live subscriber, I will stay for an extra half hour and continue answering your questions for another half hour. That said, want to give a big shout out to everyone who's been watching today, especially those on YouTube. Top Dog, Steven, Dante, Caesar, Blease. Appreciate all of those being with us. Will, Mark, appreciate you watching. It means the world to us that you watch on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button on YouTube to our videos, but only hit that like button once. You can't do it more than once, but make sure you subscribe and you hit that like button. If you're watching on TikTok Live, you know how much I love this community. Candyman, Real Bordeaux, Blease, IP Shade 45, user 8012, also known as Angel, Jorge, it was so nice seeing you today. The People's Bet, bringing some great information. Travis Murphy, great to see you in the show today. Appreciate all of those. Joseph, a really loyal subscriber. YA Tittle 24, great seeing all of you join the show today. Having so much fun. M Baldwin 918. Again, ZZ, One Big Deal 22. Great seeing all of these familiar screen names in the chat. Goes to show we're building this incredible Butt Fumble sports community here. Having so much fun doing it. Means the world to us that you join us every day. That said, we only have 2 minutes left of the show. If anyone wants me to stay on for an extra half hour, just subscribe on TikTok Live. However, let's look at these picks up here on the screen. I want to make sure you guys see all the picks that we've given out today. For all those who are unfamiliar with the show, if it has a bullet point next to it, it means it's a pick that we researched last night or this morning prior to the show, so we loaded that up. However, the asterisk means it was a mid-show research play. So we were doing our show because someone asked a question, we found a trend that we really liked, and we decided to add it to the big board. So that's the difference between the bullet point and the asterisk. For those who are curious about our long ball long shots of the day, here they are. Again, I mentioned this to you earlier. Our long ball long shots of the day are hitting around 30.3% of the time. Our overall bets right now are hitting at about 64.8% of the time. So really like our percentages, but hopefully today is another day for us to drive those averages up, make you guys a lot of money, cash a lot of tickets, and hopefully come back with really good percentages tomorrow. Appreciate all of those who have been with us. Again, one more time, if any of you want me to stay live for the extra half hour, just subscribe on TikTok Live. If anyone subscribes on TikTok Live, I will stay for the extra half hour to answer your questions exclusively. It will be exclusive for subscribers only. So subscribers get special attention, answering only your questions all the time, so you guys get all the personal attention. So if you guys want me to have a subscriber only show, just need one other person to subscribe in the next minute or two. With that said, again, I'm going to quickly go through all of our picks. If you're watching on Instagram Live, you can go over to YouTube and see our picks. Here are our favorite plays of the day. We have one hockey play. We have 3 MLB games. We have a ton of MLB player prop bets. I mean, loaded on the MLB player prop bets. And we do have one and our long ball long shots of the day underneath. If you missed any part of the show today, you can find it on YouTube. Our show is posted immediately up on YouTube right after we come off of being live. So if you missed any part of the show, you want to check our research, want to double check any of the picks that we gave out, go to our YouTube channel, watch the show. But when you do, make sure you hit that like button. Again, only once, but it means so much to us to get that kind of support and to help us drive the traffic and let others know about Butt Fumble Sports. Okay, we have been live for 2 hours today. It's amazing how fast these shows go every day. Do not worry, we are going to be live tomorrow. Tomorrow, Butt Fumble Sports is going to be live at 11 a.m. again. Butt Fumble Sports is alive Thursday morning at 11 a.m. on TikTok Live, YouTube Live, and on Instagram Live. So for all of those loyal followers, for everyone who's joined us today, thank you so much for the support. I cannot believe how much this community has embraced us. It means the world to me, means the world to the team behind me. You guys are unbelievable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's humbling to know you guys make us a part of your sports betting content and your daily activities. Everyone, we are live again tomorrow at 11 a.m. That's Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of the daily Butt Fumble Sports Betting Show with all the player props, total plays, NBA, MLB, NHL, everything that you want. And again, tomorrow night is Game 5 between the Celtics and the Heat, so we'll have a ton of picks to give out. Can't wait for it. Can't wait to see you there tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. Hope you stay healthy. Hope you have a great afternoon, a great evening, and of course, hope you cash a lot of tickets. We'll see you tomorrow at